Hello there and welcome. I am so glad to have you.
Howdy.
And you're not alone.
Nope, this is my wife, Michelle.
Hello. Now we've
Hi.
got an audience. Fabulous.
She also works.
Wonderful.
She
I'm
also
going
works at Newark.
to turn my volume up a little bit here so that I can make sure I hear you. I am so glad to have you with me. I'm glad you're here. I waited to
Oh,
start until I saw you here.
I
Wanted to
appreciate that. Appreciate it.
you
I was
betcha.
like, oh my God, it's 6:33.
Absolutely no problem whatsoever. So with that then, recording is rocking and rolling, I
Got
believe. I
it.
want to double check that. I think it said recording is
It did. It warned me. Yeah.
wonderful. We want that because I want you to be able to come back and look at this again, just in case there's things you say, you know what? I'm not sure I heard that right, or I think I need to be re-energized by it. That is what it's going to be there for you. Okay? All right. So
Ooh.
let's get going. For those of you who are not tracking, Audrey, you are. However, my name is Miranda Lewis. I am a certified dream builder coach and life mastery consultant through the Brave Thinking Institute. And what I'm going to talk about tonight, a little bit of an introduction into what it is I do, what it is the Dream Builder program can do for folks, the power of vision, 3 keys to mastering your results. Okay. I'm going to give you a little more specificity on what that means. Where do the 3 keys come from? Are they part of something bigger? They are. And we're going to talk about that. But the first thing I want to do is I want to open up a little bit of humor, a little bit of story to kind of set the stage for what we're doing here. So, once upon a time, because every good story begins once upon a time, there was a mother mouse. This mother mouse was leading her baby mice through the house. And as they were going through the house, they came around a corner and they ran into the house cat. The house cat, of course, saw the mice and got very excited and hungry, and it was brandishing its sharp teeth. And the mother mouse, in her protective nature, took her baby mice, pushed them back behind her, and she got up on her hind legs, and in as loud a voice as she possibly could muster, she said, "Woof, woof, 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 woof." And the cat got scared and ran away. Of course, this is supposed to be a kind of a funny story here. But what really matters is what Mama Mouse said to her children. She turned and she said, "Now, children, let that be a lesson to you. You can always benefit from learning another language." Okay, sure, another language, as in like dog to scare cat. Meant to be amusing, but also to help put forward the concept that though these are sort of imaginary languages, right? Mice chirping, cats meowing, dogs barking, they do represent an alternative form of communication and an alternative way to think about things. What we're going to talk about tonight is specifically the language of success. This is what we care about tonight, the language of success. My PowerPoint appears to have locked up a little bit. Where did my slides go? Hello, slides. Do you mind continuing? Whoops, here we go. There we are. I apologize. That was kind of weird. There we go. Let's make sure that I'm actually sharing everything properly. There we are. That was odd. My apologies for that. That was weird. There we go. Whew. Kind of strange. I'm not sure what's going on. It could be the Wi-Fi I'm experiencing here. So, bottom line, language of success. That's what we want to talk about. Mastering results is all about success. Have you ever had an area of your life that you wanted to improve? Anybody? Either anybody had an area of your life you want to improve, right? I mean, the majority of us have. Not a big surprise there, right? Of course. So, can you see my screen still, by the way?
It's I've got the swirling circle of death, and I also am not sure if you'd like me on mute or not.
Be on mute, do whatever you want. It is completely up to you. I'm
Okay.
going to try to reshare then. This is a little interesting.
Look, we're pink. I forgot. Yeah, I can change that. Can you? I'm not sure you can. No, I can. I have one.
See what we've got here. Does this want to work now? How about this? How's my screen now?
The intention.
Hey, Bob's your uncle. We're in there. All right. So The intention, my intention, what I'm going to do for you here is three things. Number one, I'm going to help you achieve your goals. I'm going to help show you ways that you can achieve your biggest goals. I'm going to give you three tools specifically for that. I'm also going to help give you or help you establish greater clarity on what are your goals and dreams in the first place. Because many people don't even know. They simply know there's something more for them, but they don't know what those are. Okay. And then finally, I want you to feel more confident in your ability. Some people don't have a question about what their goals are, they've got tons of them, but they need some clarity on which ones should I be pursuing? Where do I even start? I got goals upon goals. So my intention is going to be help you see these three elements through tonight. And of course, by giving you the first three steps of the Dream Builder program as well. Anybody ever achieved a dream? I have achieved a dream. Have you ever achieved a dream? Absolutely. Now, when you achieve that dream, is there any chance that maybe you didn't realize how that was going to happen? That maybe in the beginning you thought, this is huge. I don't even know if I can do this. This is probably, it might not even be something I can even do. Way out of my realm. And yet you achieved it anyway. We ever experienced that? That just goes to show, truth is, we're all far more capable than we even know. Many times we achieve great big dreams in our lives that we, at one point or another, thought, not a chance, way beyond me. I'm not that good. I'm not that worthy, potentially. But the truth is, we are all far more capable than we actually give ourselves credit for. These dreams, these desires that we have, come out of challenges that we face. Somewhere along the line in our lives, we end up with roadblocks, things that we want to overcome, challenges that get thrown in our path. And we end up establishing goals and dreams to surmount those. We get two specific signals of the growth towards those dreams and goals. We call these our longing and our discontent. Again, I'm waiting for my slides to kind of catch up here. This is a little strange. We have both a longing consideration and a discontent consideration. Longing is our body, our mind telling us there's something more for me. It's out there. I'm here in this box, and there's something bigger out there. Discontent is, I got this thing in the box with me that I don't want in the box with me anymore. The longing is our soul saying, I want more. The discontent is our soul saying, I want less of that particular thing there. These are the two signals that our life gives us, telling us, I need to move forward. So if I keep doing the same thing I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting the same results. And that's no good. You see, that pain of the problem and the burning desire, of course, for something new are absolutely critical for getting new results. Otherwise, we simply keep doing the same old thing over and over, and our lives never change. We end up with the exact same results. We end up in the same rut, going through the same processes over and over. We need that pain, that burning desire of something else is out there and I want it. That is absolutely critical for creating new results. So I want to share with you, as an example, my own story, how this came about for me. Gosh, almost 8 years ago now, I essentially lost my job. I was the program manager for a pretty important, pretty prominent Marine Corps acquisition program. I was the program manager for this, and through a reorganization and requirement for everybody to reapply for their jobs, I was not selected to keep the position that I was already in, that I was not fully finished delivering on. And that couldn't have happened at a worse time for me because it happened while I was also going through major struggle of personal identification, a struggle that I didn't want to admit to anyone, and it was creating an already existing major crisis for me. I was questioning my gender identity. And this is something that I had kept buried for my entire life. I'd been hiding it from everybody else. I'd been hiding it from myself, even for my entire life. This had been leading and developing and building a level of anxiety, confusion, and despair in my life that started to compound. And I came to a point where I literally began to wonder whether there was any way for me to get through it. So take that situation and then take this prestigious board selected job that I had been in away from me. And I am essentially at rock bottom. I realized, however, that I was in the midst of a defining moment of my life. I was experiencing this defining moment and in actually struggling with whether I trusted the relationships in my life, the feelings in my heart, my very place in the world. This was really what was going on. It was much bigger than what am I going to do now that I've lost my job? Oh my God, do I entertain these thoughts that I've been having about who I really am? I knew that it was my soul that was speaking to me through these messages of longing and discontent. And I had to become comfortable with the idea that I needed to trust my feelings. And more importantly, that I needed to trust my marriage and the relationship that I had with my spouse and its very foundations. So at that moment, I made a decision. I decided that I was going to stop hiding, that I was going to stop pushing off these feelings, and I was going to let them be. And I was going to let them flourish and explore and see what all this really meant to me. And inherently, kind of a requirement there, come out to my wife and tell her where this was going for me and what was going on. I had to trust those relationships in my life. And I needed to trust them without worrying about the term in terms of whether the strength of our relationship would manage this and whether we could communicate well enough. I knew this wasn't going to be easy. But along that journey, what I discovered was an absolutely undeniable happiness in living my authentic self. I'd been searching my entire life for this sense of peace, this centeredness that would overcome the emotional and physical stress. And I was finally coming to achieve it. And I've achieved my dream through that journey. Today, I am absolutely living my best life like it is cool. I have a marriage that is stronger than I ever could have imagined it could be. It is absolutely amazing. I am in a place of peace and happiness that I honestly did not know was ever available to me. As a coach, I get to help other people by supporting them and realizing their dreams as well. The gratification and satisfaction in my life is at a level I never would have expected, never could have expected. I'm learning to fly, which has been a lifelong dream of mine. And of course, I'm playing roller derby now. I mean, are we living full life now? I think so, right? 31 years of marriage to the same amazing person, the loving support of all four of my children, and I've got a smile on my face that had not been there at all before. Not that I was in a miserable place, but there's a level of happiness that I did not know was available to me. This is living a life that I absolutely love. Now, with all of that said, My promise to you this evening, right now, together, is that I'm going to give you my very best. I'm going to give my all to share with you the principles, the not just the major takeaways, but the advantages of this program. I want to help you understand the concepts behind it. So as we wrap up, you have something you can take away. I'm going to give that all to you. And for some of you, that information is going to resonate, especially close to your heart. And if it does, and if you want to pursue that any further, I will have a gift for you towards the end. That is my promise to you. So let's move forward. We are all creating results. We are creating results every day, every moment of our life. As we like to say in the life coaching world, if you continue to breathe for 365 days, you will have put a year behind you. But you may not have grown or lived a new year. You're going to get the result of still being here. Many people live not 99 years, but 1 year, 99 times. They don't grow and get new results. But we are all creating the results in our life, either by default or by design. These are the two ways that results come into our life. For most of us, live in the same year over and over, our results are default. For those who design their life and take specific action to move forward toward their goals and their dreams, they're living a life that they are defining. And that's what we want. We want to recognize that we get results no matter what. If you're alive, results are occurring. Either you're letting the results happen or you're making those results. Okay? Uh-oh, we did it again. Oh, very strange. There we go. Can you see the screen properly again? Again, a little bit of fuzzies there. So design or default? We would probably rather get our life results through design, I would think. I know I do. That's for sure. When we experience our life results, we experience them in what we classify one of the four domains of our life, okay? Very strange. Thank you, computer. We either experience them or we tend to experience it in the domain of health and well-being. We have the domain of love and relationships, the domain of vocation, the job that we do, and the domain finally of time and money freedom. Throughout our life, and this is just one way to categorize, it's just how we happen to do it in the Brave Thinking Institute. Throughout our life, we get results somewhere in one of or more of these four quadrants. Health and well-being, love and relationships, vocation, time and money freedom. Health and well-being. How healthy I am, how content I feel in my body. My love and relationships, right? The friendships with friends, my love of the people that I give my love to, my vocation, my job, my occupation, where I spend my time and talent necessarily, not necessarily the job I'm paid for, and my time and money freedom, or where I put my money, how comfortable I feel with it, and my time, whether I feel constrained or that time is free flowing for me and giving me plenty of opportunity. Okay? When we get these results, many people look at the results that aren't exactly what they're hoping for and they attribute those. And they say, well, here's the result that happened. And that's why I feel yucky. I'm not getting the results I want. I don't feel good about it. They've got things backwards. The results formula tells us that the results that we get actually begin with our thoughts. See, our thoughts in our mind are the first source of everything that occurs in our life. Our thoughts create feelings. Now, in case you don't believe this, let me give you a quick example. If I were to tell you, you are late for work, trying to get out the door, and you cannot find either your keys or your wallet. I want you to think right now. All I did was say the words, you're late for work, you cannot find your keys or your wallet. Do you feel in your chest a little bit of tension right now, thinking about what that situation's like? Well, you know it's fake. I see you nodding. Yes, you feel it, don't you? But I just said the words. You're not really late for work, not at this hour. Thoughts do create those feelings. And when you have those feelings of concern, that might be late, and I can't find the things I need to move forward, what happens? You behave a particular way. When you're late and you can't find your wallet or your keys, do you calmly, methodically begin to look through the house in a very ordered process? Of course not, right? I see the chuckles. No, we start freaking out. And that's when we start rushing around, maybe yelling, knocking things over, and we get particular results like the stubbed toe, the bang in the elbow into the door frame, the whatever, because we're not behaving the way we ought to, right? Default is taking over. And it all spawned from what? The thought, I am late. That's a fact. That's a statement of fact. But the thought that goes with that is all those implications of not getting to work on time. That leads to feelings, that lead to actions, that lead to results. Thoughts create feelings, feelings create actions, actions create results. Most people, however, think it's the other way around. My results cause actions, and those actions cause feelings, and those feelings cause nasty thoughts. They don't realize that it's actually the other way around. Thoughts are the because, and actions and results. And most people, again, kind of think that all of these things are the because, without ever focusing on the source of the results that we're getting, which are our thoughts. And if you want to really know what you're thinking in your mind, look at your results, because your results are never going to lie. What results am I getting? Are they the same old results? Probably because you're thinking the same old thoughts and you're not moving towards that green growing edge of growth and progress forward. We, of course, want to create new results. It's why you're here. 3 keys to mastering your results, right? Let's get some new ones. How do we create new results? We start with the very first principle of dream building, which is notice what you're noticing. If it is my thoughts that are going to create feelings to actions to results, I should probably be aware of what I'm thinking. So notice what you're noticing. And this is a concept that can be very challenging for people. This idea that, what do you mean, notice what I'm noticing? Think about what those things are that you think about. Many of us, if you stop and really analyze it, we realize that there are many times and points and activities in our life that we're thinking the same things repeatedly. Many of us have routines. What routine do you do that creates the same thought every time? When I'm washing my face at night, there's a particular thing I always think, I can't help it. It's got nothing to do with washing my face, but it's this experience, this historical experience that I had when I lived in North Carolina. I don't know why, but I can't help it. That process of being at the sink in the mirror, washing my face at the end of the day, and I always think about that one instance from back when I lived in North Carolina. You have to notice what that is, okay? That's just a quick example. When you're going through life, you're at work perhaps, and there's a particular task that you're executing, notice the things about that task that you're noticing, because those are where your thought processes are being drawn. We're going to do real quick, and I would ask you, if you have a piece of paper, something to write with handy, that would be super duper helpful. We're going to talk about a quick life assessment. You can come back and do this. This is being recorded, and I'll share that with you. We want to notice our current results. If we're going to look to make changes, we better know where we are first, okay? For example, perhaps in your life, you're somebody who doesn't know what your dream is, right? You just know there's something more. Or you got tons of dreams, not a clue where to start. I don't know. I got so many, I can't do them all at once. What am I going to do? So what we like to do is we like to consider, maybe you've achieved lots of success. You're not feeling all the fulfillment you want. You just know you want to make a difference somewhere in the world. Considering the domain of health and well-being, I want you to notice your current results. So I want you to think about this in your mind, okay? Maybe you're somebody who feels stuck. stuck in your ability to transform your health. Or maybe you feel that you've got relatively good health, but you know there's, again, more vibrancy. You're in good health, but you know maybe there's more for you. You could do more, be more, achieve more, and feel more alive. What I'd like you to do is consider one being the lowest assessment. You just cannot imagine health and well-being being any worse. 5 being the best. I couldn't imagine it possibly being any better. Think to yourself, what number score would I give my current health and well-being domain? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I want you to consider that. If you can write it down, even better. Health and well-being, give yourself a score. And I want 2 different scores from you, okay? Because it can't possibly be the same. Moving on. Love and relationships, okay? Perhaps you're somebody who longs to have that beautiful, deep, fun, passionate relationship with someone. Or you have that, but you want to make it even deeper, even stronger, even more power. You want to expand that and have even more fun in that relationship. Again, same thing. Give that a score. 1, it couldn't be worse. 5, it couldn't be better. I would hope, given the circumstances, side by side, we won't see any 1s. Okay. But again, is it a 5? Is it a 4? It's reasonable. If you want more, then perhaps it's not a 5. Give it a quick score. Moving on. Vocation, expression, how you express yourself in this world, not just the 9-to-5 job you maybe have. Perhaps you do consider that a vocation. Many people do. Consider for yourself. Maybe for you, you are somebody who knows that you want something more in your life. There is more you could do to express in your life. Or you just feel completely stuck where you are and there has to be a completely different job for you somewhere, okay? And my slides have now stuck again. They do not want to work. I apologize. This is not working well. Either way, I'd like you to consider, give that vocation status a score. 1, it couldn't be worse. 5, it couldn't be better. How do you feel about how you express yourself today? Okay, there we go. Oof. And now to move into time and money freedom. Again, I apologize for the oddity of my slides here. Time and money freedom. Perhaps you just don't have all the money that you want. Okay, most of us don't. That's certainly a consideration. Or that you don't quite have to the level that you'd like in order to be able to contribute and support the things that you would like to contribute to and support. Or perhaps you're somebody who has that money, perhaps, but you just know that there's more expansive ways that you could share that abundance of finance. And you're just not sure what those are or where you can find them. Again, I apologize. I don't know why. My slides are getting very funny on us again. Woof, my heavens. Woof. Again, I apologize. This is the craziest thing. I've never had this happen before. I'm going to blame Newport, Rhode Island. There's something in the air, perhaps. The water? It could be. Anyway, notice those current results in time and money freedom. Again, give it a score. I want you to give it a score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, it couldn't be worse. You're borderline destitute. 5, couldn't be better. Elon Musk is coming to borrow money from you. All right? Or not. Okay. So what we've done here very quickly and at a very surface level is we've looked at where we believe we are right now across those 4 domains of health and well-being, love and relationships, vocation and time and money freedom. Okay. So you've looked at all of those. What I want you to consider now is one of those, I would bet, is the lowest. Maybe all 4 are the same. Chances are mostly that you've got 1, maybe 2 that are your lowest scores. I'm not going to ask you what those are. That is for you to consider. Which 1 or 2 were lower for you? And if 2 are if you've got 2 of them at the same level, consider which one maybe would edge the other out and be a little more longing and discontent. Okay? consider specific of one of your lowest scores. What specifically is the longing and the discontent that you're experiencing in that realm? What is it about that realm that either you long for more of or that you long for less of to get it out of your life? So consider that for a moment. What is the longing and discontent of your low score? Then what I want you to really consider, what's it costing? Having this longing and discontent in a particular domain isn't free. It has an impact somewhere in our life. It might be emotional, it might be financial, it might be material. Consider what that is costing you for that particular domain to be as low as it is. Now, every one of us, of course, has a dream inside of us somewhere. We all have a dream. And what I'd like to talk about here is, number one, why my slides aren't moving. Again, I apologize. I'm glad that you are amused by this. I see that, and that's encouraging. See if we can get this to move again. It still doesn't want to go. I don't know, understand. So the key here is identifying what that dream is. This is where we're going to start to get into the actual steps of the 3 keys. Oh my heavens. Good Lord. I apologize for that. Key number 1, designing that dream. I want you to consider there is a big dream inside of you. I need to lay that down on paper. I need to get that down. And when you consider designing that dream and identifying what that dream is, I want you to consider the words of Howard Thurman here, who would say to us, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do that. Because, of course, the world needs more people who come alive. Consider that as you consider what your dream is. Now, I'm going to take you through very quickly here, loose term, a time machine exercise. You recognize this as the time machine, right? This is Doc Brown's DeLorean time machine, isn't it, right? And we're going to take ourselves 3 years into the future, okay? We use 3 years because oftentimes 1 year is a little too close to home. It's too close to reality, and it's difficult for us to separate constrained thinking, or what we call common hour thinking, which is largely driven by the considerations, the constraints, the resources I live with right now. 3 years takes us far enough away from the reality of now that we begin to become unbounded, and we really live into what this is going to be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some time here to consider what you would love in 3 years from now. And this is a really important phrase. Not what would you like, not what do you think is possible. What would you love? No resource constraint exists. Everything that you would need to work out and align and come up with would come to you. And 3 years from now, what would your amazing life look like? Very important consideration as we do this exercise. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about this. The concept of clarity is power. The more clarity, the more detail and distinction we can come up with in this dream of our dream life 3 years from now, the more reality that we can apply to that description, the closer, the more likely we are to be able to bring it to fruition. You see, we believe as dream builders that the universe has endless capacity and capability to give us everything and anything that we want. We have to tell it, though, what it is we want. So the more clarity we give that dream, the more we give the universe to latch onto and provide it to us in material return. For example, If you think about where your dream retirement location is, you've got a location somewhere in your mind, I hope. Do you know what the house looks like? What color is the door? What's the shape of the house? Where exactly is it? What is the weather like? What are the sounds and the smells of that house that say home and give you that comfort? This is the level of clarity that we are looking for. So I want you to consider this and start out with this statement, the consideration, what would you love? Starting in a present tense statement where we say, this is what my life is like 3 years from now. And we open it with this really, really happy and an empowering statement that says, I am so happy and grateful now that puts us in a present tense mentality to say, this is the life I'm living, not this is the life I would like to live. This is the life I'm living. We put ourselves in the present tense of the now in 2028. February 3rd, 2028. I want you to consider, I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to consider what does that look like for you. If you can write it down, that's great. If you want to mumble it to yourself, just want to think about what does it look like? I am so happy and grateful now that. What does your dream life look like? I'll give you just a couple minutes with that. I'll pause you there. Looks like you might be finished anyway, and that's helpful. Whether you feel you've written out a very detailed description or not, I want to offer you a phrase to help hold space for more expansive understanding and dream definition. And that is this or something even better still. One of the biggest reasons that we love wrapping up this vision everywhere, this time machine vision of our future, is that we will have an evolution of that dream every day. We will get more ideas, we will get more clarity. And so we leave that space open for expansion in the phrase this or something even better still. And what you've done now is you've helped design your dream. You started very rough. You got a cocktail napkin right now, right? You don't have blueprints like are on the back of the screen here, right? Those are very detailed, but they probably started as a cocktail napkin. Hey, what I want this house to look like. They turned into detailed blueprints ultimately. That's simply step one of designing your dream. The first key to mastering your results. You got to know what it is that you want. And that brings us to, here we go. If my computer will move forward, our second key, and I want to talk to you about a great thought leader, Bob Proctor, who gives us a phenomenal introduction into how this can work for us. As Bob Proctor says, there is this single mental step that you can take, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you'll ever encounter, and it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. As Bob Proctor says, it is called decision. By deciding, we end up mentally committing. I want to identify for you that what this means to us is this idea that we are deciding for new results. We want to be on that green growing edge. We want something to be different, and we decide for those new results. This is all part of the second step, deciding for your dream. You defined your dream to a certain extent. You started telling me what life is going to be like 3 years from now. Now you simply have to say, I mean it, and I'm going to do something about it. That's deciding for your dream. It tends to be a quick moment in time. We are deciding for new results. We know where we are now. We did a quick life assessment, right? Across the 4 domains. Got a kind of an idea where you are now. You did a very quick, cursory, if you will, vision statement to say, what would I love 3 years from now? And what we do by deciding for new results is we consider the how and then put it aside. And we say, I don't need to know how. All I need to know is that I really mean it, that I do intend for this to happen. We make that committed decision that I will do something to move forward. Which brings us to an amazingly inspirational statement from Henry David Thoreau. If you're not familiar with Walden, the great book/poem of Thoreau's experiment in life, living down at Walden Pond for a period of time to, as he said, suck the marrow out of life and to live this life experiment. And this is an amazingly empowering quote that I consider, I call it the Thoreau Code, that if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams, in other words, if you make a decision, if you decide for that dream, endeavoring to live the life they are imagining, the dream you define, you pass an invisible boundary, and all sorts of things begin to occur that never otherwise would have occurred, simply by being decisive. One begins to meet with a success unexpected in common hours, where we think about constraints and resources. But new, more universal, more liberal laws begin to establish themselves around that person. Or the old laws that existed are simply rearranged in your favor and things start coming to you. Nevertheless, one begins to live with the license of a higher order of being. The Thoreau Code has inspired people to grow in their lives and commit to their dreams more, I would imagine, than any other statement even similar to it. Which is going to bring us to, so I can decide for my dream, what do I do now? What if that dream's got a little bit of scary attached to it? as well. We decide for our dream, but the next thing we got to do is befriend our fear. There will be fear involved. I got a big, audacious, hairy goal of a dream, but it's a bit on the scary side. I'm going to show you something here on the next screen that might look a little scary at first, but I want you to look at it. I'm going to kind of walk you through it. If I asked you to read this real quick, you just kind of look at the words. This looks a little scary. How would I read this? But if you just start taking a step, you look at the first word. What does that say? According to the research. According to research at Stanford University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Now, if I simply asked you as a younger reader to read this, you might see this and be intimidated and be afraid of it. But if you befriend your fear and simply start making a step, you realize the human brain can read this. It doesn't matter how great a reader you might be. The brain figures out, if I know where I am now, the first letter, and where I want to get to, the last letter, the middle works itself out for us. I don't have to know how. And this is incredibly important to us as we move forward to living into our dream. You will experience statements like, yeah, right, that ain't going to happen. Or how are you going to do that? Or where will you find the time? Or where will you get the money? And we have a name for these kinds of feelings. These are called paradigms. These are things that kind of keep you in your box. Nothing terribly wrong with some of these questions that we see, but they don't allow us to live in an expansive way. Anybody ever experienced paradigms? Got paradigms in your life? I got paradigms in my life, not gonna lie. So as we decide for new results, what we're actually doing is we're gonna willingly walk ourselves through the 3 Ds. 3 Ds, which are delay and distraction. I got an idea, but maybe right now is not a great time. I'll put that off for a bit. Or I'll find something else that might be a little more important right now. That's the first D, getting in the way of deciding for new results. The second one being dissuasion, where we kind of talk ourselves out of it. Well, actually, maybe it's not that great an idea after all. Maybe it's a little harder than what I really thought it was going to be anyway. So, maybe it's not that important to me anyhow. And the final D is full-on panic, DEFCON 1. Oh my God, I am afraid, I am scared to my core of what this new me could mean. All of this, however, is good news. When we feel delay, distraction, dissuasion, DEFCON 1, it's actually good news because it's our body signaling us that we are actually on that green growing edge. We are, in fact, experiencing, or we are on the precipice of experiencing growth. And this is so important for us. Part of our body is going to experience that and go, heck yeah, I got this all day long, every day, twice on Sunday. And another part of us is going to say, excuse me, I'm afraid, what if I fail? These are two very natural emotions, and we are likely to experience both of them. So we have to understand fear and failure are absolutely critical parts of moving forward and making progress. Fear and failure are here to keep you safe. They're here to keep you from experiencing pain, or to take care of things for you, or to keep you from being embarrassed, or to help hold off because right now is not the right time. They're keeping you comfortable. They're keeping you in their artificial boundaries. That's what fear and failure are looking to do to you. I know I've experienced it. Have you ever experienced any of these things? Fear of failure, in fact? Yeah, absolutely. Let me give you an illustration. Fear of failure. We all learned how to walk, didn't we? Everybody learned how to walk? Everybody? We learned how to walk? This means yes, this means no. You didn't learn how to walk. Oh, that's a bummer. I think you did though, right? How did you learn to walk? Well, have you ever seen a baby learn to walk? What do? They get, up to the sofa or a leg on somebody or a table or something. Right? They get themselves up onto their feet and they lock their eyes on what they're looking for, the cookie, the toy, mama, whatever it is, right? And they take a step. And what happens when they take that step? They fall over, they fall down. And that's okay. What do they do after that? Maybe a couple of tears, but then what do? Get themselves back up on the bed, the table, the leg, whatever it is, and they take another step. And what happens the second time they try to take a step? They'll fall down again, aren't they? That's what babies do. They fall down a lot. And it's absolutely imperative. It's okay because we learn to walk by falling down. We figure out, whether we realize it or not, our little baby brains start to figure in what is it about balance that's required to stay up. And eventually we get it. None of us fell over a few times and said, you know what? That's it for me. I guess I wasn't meant to be a walker. Of course not. None of us did that. We all learned to walk, right? That's okay. Failure happens. It is part of our growing. For example, Oprah Winfrey, she was fired by TV executives because they decided she wasn't fit for TV. Not fit for TV. Oprah. Or how about Steven Spielberg? Do you know he was rejected from USC Film School 3 times? Think about that. He went there eventually. That means he had to have applied 4 times. You know anybody who even applies to the same school twice, let alone 4 times? Failure was part of his process, and he didn't let it slow him down. The guy who started Starbucks, the loan application for his first Starbucks was rejected 242 times. He was told there's no market for that kind of coffee. I think there's a market for that kind of coffee, right? Walt Disney, fired from his first newspaper job because he lacked imagination. Walt Disney lacked imagination. Bottom line is, we must recognize that fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So we befriend our fear, understanding that part of us wants to go forward, part of us wants to play small, and it is our job as being in charge of our lives and our future to take the fear and to cross it out and say, not today, fear. I'm not going to let you get in my way. I am going to take a step, no matter how small it might be, toward my dream. Through that process, we will experience fear, doubt, and worry. But it's okay, because fear, doubt, and worry are in the small little thought. And our dream is in great, big, bold thought, and it has more power than fear, doubt, and worry. We are going to take action. We are going to move forward. So I want you to consider right now, you know where you are. You did a life assessment. You did a little bit of a designing what your future life could be. I want you to consider right now, what's one simple step perhaps that you could take to get you closer to that dream life, the what I would love, I'm so happy and grateful now, that statement. You had a couple minutes to write about what it would look like. Now I want you to think, what's one thing, no matter how small, that you could do to take action to get yourself closer to that? This is a very important part of befriending your fear. It helps you manifest in your mind what you will do, how you will begin that journey. The journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first one, right? So that is key number 3, befriend your fear. You've done that. You befriend your fear, you know how to step forward. So what have we talked about so far in mastering your results? We have talked about this concept of expanding your awareness, the pattern of success, increasing your results in your life. Understanding that in order to change those results, we've got to change what we're thinking about. what we're noticing, what we're focusing on. And then also that in order to generate those new ideas, we can ask this very powerful question: what would I love? And throughout that, in a way to employ that, we've said, we're going to start by designing our dream. We are going to decide for that dream, and we are going to befriend our fear. Those first three steps will allow you to see greater success and greater goal achievement in your life. Just those first three steps of the 10-step dream building process. Consider and keep in your mind and remind yourself as you go through even just those first three steps, you are worthy of your dream and worthy of a life you love. In fact, you're worthy of a life you absolutely love living. So as promised earlier, I have a gift for you. For some of you, this material is resonating. This is speaking to you, and you perhaps want to take this further, okay? You can use the QR code here, or you can use my email address there to email me. You can reach out to me anytime you want, and I will offer you a free, people might call it a consultation. I give you a free 1 hour, what we call a strategy session. And we can take that and we can discuss in more detail how you can take those first three steps that I just gave you. Maybe hone in on what's your dream look like? How can you get there? Okay. The QR code to take you to my Calendly page. You can schedule this free of charge, 1 hour, one-on-one session. We're going to talk in specificity. What is your dream? What is the long intent? What do you see as the barriers to your life? Okay? If that is something that is valuable to you, I encourage you to pursue that. Okay? Before I leave you, I want to tell you one final story about dreams, about changing thought processes, and befriending fear. William H. Murray. William H. Murray was a renowned mountain climber. And William H. Murray had himself a Mount Everest-sized dream, okay? He had a dream of going up Mount Everest. Fortunately for William Murray, he wasn't the only person. Another guy came along, good old Edmund Hillary. You might know these names, especially with respect to Mount Everest, right? Edmund Hillary was putting together the expedition to try to summit Mount Everest. He needed, and he knew he needed, William Murray on the team. Murray was a great respected mountain climber in his own right, and was also a great navigator and could find the path to summit particular mountains. So Edmund Hillary came to William Murray and he said, we're planning this expedition to try to summit Mount Everest. It hadn't been summited yet. And I need your help and I want you to come join me. Will you come join me? And William Murray said, well, I would love to come join you. I need to know, though, how much does it cost? What will it cost for me to join you? Edmund Hillary told him what it would cost to join the expedition. And William Murray said, I don't have that much money. I don't have that accessible. I can't do this. Okay. Edmund Hillary goes away. And they go on their expedition to summit Mount Everest. They don't quite make it. And they come back. A couple of years later, we're putting together another expedition. Edmund Hillary comes back to William Murray again, says, we didn't make it last time, but we've learned a great deal. We still need you. I still need you. I still want you. I believe that you are going to be critical to this effort. Will you join this expedition to help us try to summit Everest? And again, William Murray asks the same question. What will it cost? The number's gone up a little bit now because it's a couple of years later. And William Murray says, I don't have that money still. No, I mean, I don't even have what you asked me for the last time. Not a chance. I can't do it. Good luck. And Edmund Hillary goes off and they work on summiting Mount Everest. They don't quite make it the second time either. They come home a couple years later, putting together what Edmund Hillary believes is the final opportunity for the expedition to summit Mount Everest. And he goes one more time to his friend William Murray, and he says, I really need you. I urge you to find it in your heart, find a way to join us. And Murray says, what would the down payment be? He simply changed his way of viewing. He said, well, I don't have all the money, and I'm fairly certain I won't. But in order for me to secure my spot, is there a number you could give me to simply give a down payment? And when he was given that number, he still didn't know where that was going to come from. He didn't even have that money available to him, but he took a step of decision and commitment and said, count me in. He changed his entire way of thinking. And as William Murray says in his book, all of a sudden, all manner of things began to come to him. The down payment became available to him. In fact, all of the money to pay his whole portion of the expedition came to him, and he had no idea previously where or how that would come to him. And of course, what happened on their third try? They summited Mount Everest. And in the history books, Edmund Hillary, William Murray go down in history as the two who summited Mount Everest first. William Murray makes this amazing, insightful statement in his book about this effort. He says, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. I want you to think about that. Just because I don't see where the abundance might be doesn't mean there isn't abundance out there in the world for me. Absence of that evidence is not evidence of a complete lack of that abundance. And it also reminds me of a very famous couplet, or a very important and valuable couplet from Goethe. I'm reminded that until one is committed, there is hesitancy and a chance to draw back and always ineffectiveness. And as Goethe says, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Because boldness has genius and power and magic in it. Whatever you can do or dream that you can do, begin. Take a step. Boldness of taking that step has genius and power and magic in it. And so do you, and so does your dream. And I know that you can live your biggest, greatest, most amazing life that you absolutely love living if you take the bold step of living what you would love in this life. I thank you for your time. I've given you those 3 keys to mastering your results. If it resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. I thank you for your time and your attention this evening. You can unmute and talk to me if you would like. That's okay.
I didn't know.
It's all good.
That was awesome. Yeah.